Hello, everybody, and welcome to Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. Welcome aboard. This is the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series brought to you by Sim 500 at Dover. Getting ready to go green flag here on Turn 1. Hello, everybody. Again, I'm Sean Fitz. We're excited to bring this race to you here tonight. Justin Fuller, Mark Jorgensen, Bentley Glazer, Troy Haight, Jason Karlovich, Nelson Rivera, Joe Hudson, Tyler Dalton, and David Shieldhouse, your top 9. Cody Harris is going to pick up the 10th place spot. Here, we're at the Monster Mile, Dover, Delaware, for another great Cup Series race right here on Turn 1 with the Sim 500 group. It's going to be a really interesting story of what these cars can do here. We've heard these drivers over the last many weeks talk about how aero sensitive these cars are, how difficult it has made it for them to get around the racetrack and make passes. Well, Dover is tough anyway. It's a momentum track. You got to keep it moving to make sure you can get a hold of those positions. Turn 1 and 2 is going to have an opportunity down on the bottom. Turn 3 and 4 is all about trying to stay off that outside wall. As you see the pace car getting ready to bring them back around and the lights will go off. These drivers are going to have to avoid getting that aero tight, scrubbing those front tires, while also trying to keep pace. The Cook Series Landscape Group Cup Series brought to you by, presented by Sim 500. The Cook Landscape Group Cup Series presented by Sim 500. It's always a great time. You'll certainly not want to miss all the live action every Monday night, 9 Eastern, 8 Central, right here on Turn 1. They're going to get ready to go green here. 39 cars in the field tonight around this tight Dover, Delaware. We've seen the Downforce Racing Series action here just a few nights ago. And I don't suspect this will be any different. Tough to pass. Tires are going to need to be managed. You're going to need to hang on for the ride. Justin Fuller, he's having a remarkable season so far. And he's going to start on the inside pole. Pace car down pit road, all the way down to the restart zone they go. And there it is. The green flag is out. We're Cup Series racing here at Dover. Very similar to that DRS race we've seen. All of a sudden, these drivers get single filed out fairly quickly here throughout the top 10 as Shadows and the Shade overtake the track. That's going to put a little bit of grip in it early here, as essentially our entire top 10 single file as Fuller's going to lead the first lap here at Dover. Car on the apron there, I believe that's a EOL. Going to start on the pits. Going to start from the pits. They're going to have to be careful merging on there. Looking back at us, Brian Macklin and Joe Hudson. They were side by side. This is a battle back here for 12th. Trying to get squared up. And coming across the stripe here, Bentley Glazer. The driver of the 36 machine set the fastest time right there, a 23.92. But Fuller, free and clear and in control as the sun's starting to come out here in 3 and 4. Jorgensen, though, looks like he is hot on the tail there last time by. He was about a 10th and a half faster. Justin Fuller will keep a close eye on that battle. Meanwhile, looking through the rest of the field as these cars rip off a 2. A little bit of a battle here. Who is that? That is the 95 of Cody Harris inside of Joe Hudson. Joe's going to go high. No pressure there. And the 95 is going to take that spot and move up to 12. Back up front here. Fuller remains in control here early as you see Jorgensen move up a lane in 3 and 4. Trying to find a little bit more grip as they come across the stripe to take lap 6. These laps are going to fire off really quickly here. 24-second lap times right now, but that'll change drastically through about a 15-lap run. We saw that with the DRS crew on Tuesday night. These drivers really have got to maintain the tires as best as you possibly can. We will see a tire fall off here in about 15 laps or so, but to the sum of nearly a second and a half as Brian Macklin continues looking around the track for an opportunity, and he's looked underneath there of Anthony Calatoni, not able to make that move. Calatoni able to pull off a great win here just a couple weeks ago on turn 1, and then it's David Shieldhouse, Troy Haight battling it out. Haight's going to move up. Shieldhouse is going to take that spot. Hello to all the children. David Shieldhouse running 6th right now in the early going. These two up front, though, have started to pull away from 3rd place Bentley Glacier. That's Fuller and Jorgensen putting down some pretty impressive lap times, 24:32s, 24:23s. Fastest, obviously, in the top 10 as they come back by here at 24:39 for our leader, with a 40 from Jorgensen back behind him. And this is the type of racing that Dover can put on. You see a little bit of single file here, but tire conservation and car management will be a factor because we will see some come and goers through the top 10 as we move through the next couple laps. Speaking of come and go, David Shieldhouse, like I mentioned, he's up to 6th right now. The driver of the 20 car. Up 5 spots on the night. Another driver on the move here is Anthony Calatoni, the driver of the 84. He's currently sitting 10th at the moment. He's up 5 spots on the night so far here at Dover. The sun's starting to come out now and fill up the racetrack. That's going to heat this track up quite a bit. A lot of high bank in this racetrack. It's almost like a elongated version of Bristol in a lot of ways. It's made it one of my favorites over the years. It is very quick, and you can let the corners help you turn the car in. But once you burn off the tire, it is also going to punish you the most. We talked about it during the pre-race and how difficult it can be to manage through tire wear and on top of the tire wear, manage through the aero issues that these Cup Series cars tend to have right now. And that's not just an iRacing issue. That is an issue across the board in the Cup Series NASCAR. These cars are very tight, very sensitive to aero at a lot of times. As we see, who was that? That was Patrick Colby make a spot there underneath Jeff Hollingsworth at the 97. Hollingsworth is going to slide back to 20th place. Colby's going to pick up 19th. Back up front, running within 2/10s. Continue here as Fuller and Jorgensen as we take lap number 14 of 150 for tonight's Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series right here on Turn 1. Presented by Sim 500. Glad you're aboard. It's going to be a great show here. Always is with these Sim 500 guys. And if either it be Sunday Night Surge or the Cup Series on Monday, I tell you what, it's a great group of individuals. A lot of respect on track, and everybody just wants to have a good time and race clean. As we see Calatoni underneath who was that? Jose Gonzalez. That's Gonzalez going to slide up to the outside. Calatoni's going to pick up another spot. That's now up 6 spots on the night for Calatoni as he settles in the night. But the point I was going to make with the Sim 500 group is if you want to join this group of individuals, they race 3 or 4 nights a week all over the board. In the Sunday Night Surge Series, Cup Series action. Many different opportunities Wednesday and Thursday night. They also have I believe it's a dad league or something like that on Friday nights. It runs late, but gives you an opportunity to go race one time a night or one time a week when you're ready to settle in and have a good weekend. If you want to join up, feel free to head on over to sim500.com for more information. Let them know Turn 1 sent you. We're clean and green so far here tonight on lap number 18. Justin Fuller out front. The driver of the 88 there is starting to back up just a little bit. Again, we talked through with the DRS crew. They mentioned how tough it is to suck up to a car in front of you. Clean air being really important. Makes you wonder if Jorgensen's having that issue. While Bentley Glaser right now, he is settled into third, but that first and second place spot is out front of him, 1.2 seconds and beyond. As they work their way around here at Dover on lap 19, Jason Karlovash. We haven't seen that driver in a hot minute. The driver of the 60 up a spot so far, running fourth, and then it's David Schildhouse rounding out the top 5, up 6 spots. We saw Calatoni ride a lane higher there than Gonzalez. That could net you some speed off that corner, but at a cost of potentially really being a little too far out. You'll see drivers make contact with that turn 4 wall, especially there on the exit. It's really easy to run out of real estate, but it looks like Calatoni is diamonding off the corner, looking for a little bit of grip. Lap times have already started to fall off for Calatoni at 24:11, his best lap. And last lap at 24:94, so about 0.8 of a second for that driver. And we look up front here, Justin Fuller, and that lap time is very similar. Schildhouse now. Welcome to the top 4. He's going to get around the 60 of Jason Karlovash and start moving forward. And his lap times very similar to everybody else's here, 24:09. His fastest lap of 25:13 last time by, so tires starting to wear here nearly a full second, and we're on lap 22 of a clean green run here with the Cup Series at Dover. Jorgensen settling into P2, but he's starting to lose a little bit more ground to Fuller out front. That gap is now widened to half a second. Justin Fuller, he has had a strong season. You find him up front more often than not nowadays, and really it's all about just being consistent and controlling his own fate. We saw at Darlington how, in the ARCA series, how difficult that championship battle for the Sunday Night Thunder group, or I'm sorry, the Sunday Night Surge race at Darlington, and how he battled, overcame all the issues, and was able to bring home the championship and the checkered flag on basically what amounted to a decent pit strategy there at Darlington. While we've got the opportunity here, lap number 25, let's ride on board with a driver. Let's, you know what? Let's ride on board with Andrew Lutz Jr., the driver of the 12, sitting in 14th right now, so he takes a lap or two here around Darlington. Let's talk about this lap here with on board with Andrew Lutz Jr. Coming down this front stretch here at Dover. Off the throttle, light brake, let the car ride up the track a little bit, and then gently back to the throttles. The car transitions back onto the straightaway. Your full throttle here, and then a lift. Set the front end of the car, and then this is a critical part. You got to make sure you get into that corner or get into that straightaway as best as you possibly can before getting too tight onto the onto the tires, onto the throttle, because you will go for a ride. Especially the longer we see this green flag run play out, that right rear is going to get more worn and more worn. It is certainly an opportunity to see a driver get loose, but even more possible is a driver getting into these walls here on either end. These corners have a tendency, especially if you exit super low lane, to shoot you way up high into that wall. That's something that'll be a factor here tonight. Fuller maintains his lead 0.7 of a second over Mark Jorgensen. Then it's David Schildhouse. He's able to get around Bentley Glazer. Glazer settled in 4th, Jason Karlovac 5th, Nelson Rivera 6th, and then Anthony Calatoni. He is continuing to march his way forward. Tyler Dalton's with him. Calatoni up 8 spots here. Dalton, Gonzalez, Macklin, your top 10. As we work lap number 32 here tonight at Dover. We'll see these drivers look for a pit stop opportunity. Right around lap 60. Will not be able to one-stop this race here tonight, but they do have 2 sets of tires in the pits. And they're going to want them, especially if we see a rash of cautions late in the race. Gonzalez here riding right down to the bottom of the racetrack. Tyler Dalton has moved up just a little bit. And now all of a sudden, oh, that was Brian Macklin closing real tight there to the bumper of Gonzalez. He got real tight, didn't have anywhere to go with it. Now it's going to almost push him down the front stretch. Macklin looking high up in the marbles almost. Then driving down the corner, he's going to have a big run here. Can he get to the inside? He's not going to be able to. Gonzalez is going to move up. Maybe some mirror driving there. This is going to hold him off. That's going to require Macklin to reset. But it certainly looks like so far the 30 car has the exit speed off the corner here. As he drives down the corner there in turn 2. Looking up front here, Justin Fuller running a 25.02. Something he needs to think about is David Schildhouse. The last 2 or 3 laps has been turning consistent lap times faster than our leader. And that gap out front was pretty extensive before Schildhouse got by him, but now our gap to the leader is 2.7. Continue to follow that. Just behind Schildhouse there. That is a lap down car. Who is that? I do believe that may be Mike Montesi. It is not Mike Montesi, rather. That is Doug Sigmund, and you see him keep it up there pretty strong with Schildhouse. Well, that's because that driver in the 04 came down pit road just about 10 laps ago. Justin Fuller in full control here. Mark Jorgensen, David Schildhouse, Bentley Glazer, and Jason Karlovac are top 5. As we look through the rest of the field, not a big battle pretty much anywhere on the track at the moment. Everybody. This is what happens when you have a set of drivers who really have strong talent. Everybody's mostly equaled out at the moment. Nobody's pushing it super hard. It is very early still. We still have, oh goodness, what is that going to be? About about 60. I can't do the math right now. Either way, we've got a lot of laps left, about 110 or so. And with 2 sets of tires in the pits and a longer green flag run, you certainly don't expect or don't want to see yourself fall through the field on some tire wear here late in the going. As we see a little bit of pressure, that's Macklin again. That's Jose Gonzalez. Those two running 2 different lines, but Macklin now deep to the inside. That is the best run we've seen him drive off into 3 and 4. Gonzalez is going to be tied on the corner. He's going to have the RPM off. Macklin took the short way around, but could not get into the throttle as fast. Macklin looking to work his way around Jose Gonzalez before it's all said and done. But it has been a battle the last 10 laps. Speaking of Jason Karlovac, he has moved up to 4th. Glazers fell back to 5th, and this is starting to tighten this group up. That's Anthony Calatoni. He spills blood in the water. He's up 9 spots so far tonight. Lap number 42. We've seen Calatoni just, for all intents and purposes, not have the best runs here lately. But then over the last 2 weeks or so, it's like a switch flip to that 84. And he's on the hunt for a good run here tonight at Dover. We got a side-by-side battle. That is Tyler Dalton, Jose Gonzalez. I'm sorry, that is Jose Gonzalez and Nelson Rivera. Brian Macklin in the mix as well. And Gonzalez is going to get clear of that spot there, and Nelson Rivera's now going to slide back. Macklin's going to get underneath him. Here comes Troy Hayden, Cody Harris as well. Oh, whoa, contact! And that is Nelson Rivera involved. Joe Hudson's involved. Brian Macklin is destroyed down on the inside. And we're going to be under caution for the first time here tonight at Dover on lap 45. This was Brian Macklin working the backstretch. Let's take a look. This is Joe Hudson we're looking at. And it just shuts down in front of him. That was Macklin off the bumper of the 22. Nelson Rivera, they get collected. Let's take one more look here from Nelson Rivera's perspective. So I believe him and Brian Macklin made contact. This will be a better view. They're coming off of 2. Rivera gets a good drive off. Macklin, that car just snaps up high. Couple drivers over to go, including the 49. Well, that's going to shake some things up. So we're under caution here for the first time at Dover. After the pit stops, Justin Fuller maintains the lead. Mark Jorgensen, David Schildhouse, Jason Karlovich, and Bentley Glazer are going to be your top 5. Here at Dover, theoretically, these drivers can one-stop it from here on out. Let's see if anybody elects to take that strategy. Saw that tire fall off be a factor. So if we see another long green flag run, what could this turn into? And we're going to find out here as the pace car is going to duck down pit lane. We're going to go back to green flag racing here at the Monster Mile. The Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series, led by Justin Fuller, Mark Jorgensen out front, and the green flag back out. We're underway at Dover. Our top 5 single filed out for the most part already. So you see Glazer here. Gonzalez just underneath him as they roll through 3 and 4. Glazer's going to slide up the racetrack. Give that spot up. He's going to slide all the way back to 7th. Solid start here for Justin Fuller. But the driver of the 88 has not let go just yet. These two have been battling it out, but the second half of that tire run, Jorgensen was not able to hang on for too long, so maybe thinking about pushing the issue here while he's got new tires. We know aero's a factor with these cars. Jorgensen finding through that right on the bumper here of the 51 of Fuller. Looking through the field, that's Anthony Calatoni. He's back into the top 5 for the first time. Up 10 spots on the night as he starts to run down Jason Karlovich. We see Fuller, Jorgensen, and Schildhouse starting to break away from the rest of the field. In a 3-car pack. Right into the tire tracks is Jorgensen. Schildhouse is back there as well. Take a look a little further back. You're not missing anything here. Andrew Lutz Jr. in the top 10. Chad Coleman now sitting at 9th. Then it gets a little more chaotic back behind this group. That's Tyler Dalton, Stephen Miles. They're mixing it up. Joey Jatina, David Cora, Comstock there. A big cluster of cars all right behind the 19 of Tyler Dalton. Josh Parker's also in this mix. Chad Coleman, Stephen Miles, Joey Jatina battling it out. Lots of chaos and traffic back here. Saw Dalton nearly make contact with the rear end of Cody Harris. Thomas George starting to break away from this group. Then it's Stephen Miles. Then it's side-by-side Harris and Jatina. Then it's Dalton, Parker, Comstock, Ryan. Oh, and the caution's out once again here on the racetrack. We've got several cars stopped here. That's Tyrone Harris. I'm sorry, that is not Harris. Is that? That's Joe Hudson? Nope, Nelson Rivera. Involved again. Not the night that 22 car is looking to have, and that's going to bring the caution out. We're going to step aside here. Another caution. Lap 56. We're going to step away. Less than 100 to go. You're watching Turn 1. Wrapping up another caution. Most of the field electing to stay out, at least in the top 15, top 20. We're going to go back green flag racing here. Lap number 59. Fuller, Jorgensen, Schildhouse, Karlovich, Jose Gonzalez. Your top 5 is the green flag back out. Fuller with a much better start this time, able to pull away. Now Mark Jorgensen facing a little bit of pressure. That is David Schildhouse all over the bumper. They get single file top 5 coming off of 2. In the back behind this group, Anthony Calatoni's going to settle into 5th, and it's Jose Gonzalez. Right to the inside of Calatoni. Then it's Glazer, Andrew Lutz Jr., Chad Coleman, Thomas George, Josh Parker, your top 10. And we've got a battle for second place. That's David Schildhouse. Right to the bottom. And this is going to be a sight for Fuller as he looks in the rear view. It's going to give him an opportunity to pull away a little bit. Schildhouse is going to have to pinch the car down, but it's still got a strong run. He's going to dive it in low into 1, and the caution's out. Oh no, Tyler Dalton looks like he's got damage. So we can find out what happened to Dalton. Looks like Dalton there, Tommy Ryan. The 91. Oh, the 31 just drives in there deep. I think he just got rolling, and that turns Tyler Dalton, and then he moves down the racetrack, and I believe that's Jason Pick he may have made contact with. Unfortunately, that's going to bring the caution out here once again on lap 61. A rash of cautions here over the last 20 or so laps after a long green flag run, but Justin Fuller stays out. Mark Jorgensen, David Schildhouse, Jason Carlovage, Anthony Calatoni, your top 5. So we get ready to go back green flag racing here. Pace car's going to head down pit road. Fuller's going to get him restarted here. Back green flag. Jorgensen and Schildhouse are going to be side by side in the corner. This is going to be the opportunity Schildhouse wanted. He's going to have to make this pass quick, though, but Jorgensen's going to keep challenging on the high side. It's going to be a drag race off corner exit, but the 88's going to have the leverage. But he can't quite get clear. David Schildhouse stays in the fight on the bottom for second. Fuller is enjoying watching these two battle in the mirror because that means he can pull away. Schildhouse on the inside. Mark Jorgensen on the outside. Meanwhile, Jason Karlovac is right here in striking distance, waiting for one of them to slip up. Off the corner they go. Jorgensen's going to get the door shut as they roll into one. How much did that impact Schildhouse's tires? It certainly impacted that lead out front. 0.4 of a second now for Justin Fuller. Looking through the remainder of the top 10, nothing brewing, but then we look back here at 11th. It's Josh Parker actually sitting 10th, Thomas George. Stephen Miles, Tommy Ryan. Got a car high up into the fence. Out of the corner of my eye there, but they get it all smoothed out. And we're back racing here. Green flag conditions, Calatoni. Gonzalez challenging on the inside. Calatoni up on the high line at 1 and 2. Diamonding off that corner. But so far, it has been the Justin Fuller show. Out front, free and clear. Hasn't really had a whole lot of drama. After about 20 laps or so, Jorgensen falls back. At least that's what happened in that first long green flag run. One thing to note, though, is these leaders have not had to face green flag lap traffic. So that'll be something that if we see another green flag run, they could contend with, and that would certainly shake some things up. Justin Fuller enjoying some of that clean air. As we see the 88 starting to close the gap just a little bit. 0.4 now down to about a 10th or so here. As we close in on just about 80 laps remaining tonight here at Dover. The Monster Mile for the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series right here on turn 1. Schildhouse poked the nose underneath the 88, at least in the mid-corner. Not going to be able to do anything with that. Taking a look a little further back. Nothing doing, nothing brewing. Everybody single filed out. Let's ride on board with the 20 car. David Schildhouse, as he works a lap or two, tries to get around the 88. Well, we rode on board there for a little while, but now it's a side-by-side battle. That's Schildhouse. Jorgensen battling again here. Here's Schildhouse having to really feather the throttle to keep that car underneath him on quarter exit. Ultimately, Jorgensen's going to maintain that spot. Here comes Jason Karlovac on the outside, opening the door to maybe make a move here on Schildhouse. Now Schildhouse has to go into defense mode. That gap that was closed up there from Fuller. So the 88 is now down or up to 0.7 of a second growing. Again, that side-by-side battle slowing these two drivers up, allowing Justin Fuller to pull away. Looking back here, this is Anthony Calatoni, Jose Gonzalez. Calatoni entering lower in the corner. Calatoni riding the high line, Josh Parker, by the way, just behind him. He is up 26 spots on the night. And currently sitting in 7th, just behind Jose Gonzalez. Gonzalez is really quick in the mid-quarter there. The Calatoni just has to drive off on that upper line. And that just shows you 3 different lines in use. Parker, shallow diving the quarter off. Now Gonzalez is going to be in the inside of Calatoni. Not going to be able to do anything with it. Then we look back up here. Jason Karlovaj able to get by David Schildhouse. Schildhouse has really been pushing the 20 car. He's been trying to get around the 88. Makes you wonder if there's a little bit of tire wear coming into factor here as we look back. And there's Josh Parker. He's going to get clear of Jose Gonzalez, making that 27 spots up on the night. And driving forward is the driver of the 81. Josh already starting to look under Anthony Calatoni just a little bit here. He's entering really low on the corner, and that gets him good middle quarter speed. But Calatoni is riding that outside line and leveraging the momentum he has to be able to carry more speed through the quarter. Diamonding it off a little bit higher, but that's opening that door up for Josh Parker down to Poconos. As they go off into 1, that same thing now, but Josh Parker is not there, not just poking the nose, he's alongside Anthony Calatoni. This is going to be a tough pass for Parker. Obviously, he has made himself known through the field. Oh, I say that, but he drove it in there deep, and he's going to not be able to slide up here, but it's going to be a drag race down the front stretch. Parker's driving it in down in 3 and 4 better than I've seen anybody do so far tonight. Can he continue to hang on to it? And how much is that affecting his tire wear? Now Calatoni drives down, enters a little lower. Parker with a nose out, but he cannot open the wheel up. That is going to be a tough battle of these. And this is 2 different drivers and 2 different driving types around this Monster Mile Dover, Delaware. For these 2, we're going to look back up front. Justin Fuller. He broke out to a 0.7 of a second lead when Jorgensen and Schildhouse were battling. That gap's now close to 0.5. At least it was there before that quarter. We'll see how that materializes. As we are working lap 83 of 150 here tonight at Dover. While we've got the opportunity, let's ride on board with Josh Parker, the driver of the 81. He's up 27 spots tonight. He's got to be doing something right. Let's jump on board the 20 or the 81. Josh Parker looks to be really up on the wheel here tonight. That car sounding like he's keeping it pretty high in the rim, especially down into the corner. Maybe he's got something figured out in that machine. Right now, him and Anthony Calatoni just in front of him running equal lap times. Here on lap 86, we go back up front in that gap. Out front is Justin Fuller. Is now back to 0.7 as they start to work around some lap traffic. That's the 22 of Nelson Rivera. He's been involved in an incident here tonight. And now Schildhouse is going to have to drive around him. That lap traffic starting to become a factor here for our leaders. We did not see that happen during the first run. We did not see lap traffic be a factor, but midway through here, I would say this green flag run about 25 laps or so, and some lap down traffic or some cars fighting to stay on the lead lap on the horizon here for the 51. Taking a look a little further back, this is not a battle again for position, but that's Andrew Lutz Jr. He's up 9 spots on the night, currently sitting 8th. As he works around the 22. Bentley Glazer also doing the same. And then it gets a little hectic back here. That's Tommy Ryan, EJ O'Rourke, Thomas George, Wesley Donaldson all mixing it up here. This is a battle for the top 15. They're going to get it straightened out as they approach the 22. Tell you what, Fuller is on the charge. This summer has been Justin Fuller's run has been looking really strong in the 51, both in the ARCA and the Cup Series. Certainly showing he's got some pace here down the hot summer stretch. We look a little further back. This is 3 cars for position. That's EJ O'Rourke, Wesley Donaldson side by side. Donaldson's going to look to the inside. O'Rourke's going to have the RPM and the run on the corner. Wow, it looks like Thomas George almost got into the wall there. And then back behind him, that's Joey Jettina trying to work around some traffic. They get that done. Nelson Rivera's going to continue to slide back through the field, nursing a hurt car after being involved in 1 or 2 of these incidents so far here tonight. Meanwhile, Josh Parker drives around Anthony Calatoni and moves into the top 5 for the first time tonight here on lap 93. Looking a little further forward, that's David Schildhouse. Starting to make some traction here on the 60 of Jason Karlovaj. We saw Jason get around Schildhouse there about 15 laps ago. Can he hold him off now here again as we start to reach that point in this green flag run where tire fall off is a big factor? Justin Fuller has seen his lap times fall with already a second since his last time down pit road. As we are certainly into this longer green flag stint. These drivers last down pit road lap 45, so it's been about 50 laps, but certainly some cautions there are going to help them. You are in the window here, though, of being able to make it the rest of the way. It's ultimately going to be about tires and how long do you want to stay out versus tire strategy. As Karlovaj is going to go high here, he gets tight. Schildhouse is going to squeeze by. Josh Parker's going to try to do the same. Parker is going to look back to the inside. Jason's going to go high there. Josh Parker is going to take that 4th spot away. Looking through the top 10, ain't nothing really brewing. Outside of that little bit of a battle there just a moment ago, everybody is actually starting to spread out a little bit as Justin Fuller continues to run about a 0.7 of a second gap out on Mark Jorgensen Jr. But look out, here comes some lap traffic on the horizon there for the 51. Two or three cars certainly going to be a factor here. And nobody's going to move out of his way. They're going to make him earn it at least a little while here. This is still a good ways away to go in this race. But Fuller doesn't want to waste too much time trying to get by. And we've heard we've heard how sensitive these cars are to aero. We're about to find out. And that's going to actually slow up the driver of the 51 here as he starts to get ever closer to that lap car. Last time a 24.85, this time a 24.90. Still the fastest in the top 5. And that lap down car is going to move up and out of his way. Not going to be much of a factor, but again, we are about 55 laps post pit stop. Our leader's last down lap number 94. I'm sorry, lap down 45. So we'll see how this all shakes out down the stretch. Parker now starting to poke the nose under David Schildhouse. Right to the left rear. And Schildhouse is running Parker's line almost to the T. But right there is where Parker's gaining the most time. He drives it in deep on one. Gets alongside Schildhouse. It's going to be a drag race down the front stretch, or down the back stretch. But Schildhouse ultimately able to RPM out of the corner a little higher. But now starting to put a little bit of dirty air on the hood is Schildhouse of Parker. Now Schildhouse goes right to the bottom. Maybe learned something last lap. But Parker's going to have the drive off. Nearly gets into him side by side as they roll into three. Parker is just driving the bottom of the racetrack so much better, and he's going to get clear. What a move. Josh Parker moves into the top three. Nothing brewing out front right now. The 51, 8/10 of a second over Jorgensen. Then it's Josh Parker, Schildhouse. Jason Carlavage, your top five. Anthony Calatoni running sixth at the moment. Jose Gonzalez, Andrew Lutz Jr., Bentley Glaser, Stephen Miles. We're top 10. This is a battle for position. That is David Comstock, Thomas George side by side. Comstock's going to take that spot on the bottom. Here comes Joey Chatina as well. Drivers working again around some lap cars. Mark Jorgensen started to separate himself now. 1.4 seconds out front of Josh Parker. Again, Josh up 30 spots on the night. And is wheeling the 81 car here as we close in on 44 to go. Another battle brewing here. That's Andrew Lutz Jr. caught up with Anthony Calatoni. Lutz Jr. running the bottom of the racetrack. Trying to smooth it out as best he possibly can on quarter entry through one. Running a lane lower out of four here. Calatoni's got that. Oh, I say he's got that outside line rocking, but looks like he may have made a little bit of contact with the wall on the exit of four. Then we look back here. This is Stephen Miles, Bentley Glaser, Tommy Ryan side by side. Ryan's going to settle in behind Glaser at a little bit of pace here out of the 31. Ryan again looking to the inside as they drive off into four. Glaser's going to slide back. Tommy Ryan now into the top 10. You can see the shade developing all over the racetrack. This is on both ends now. This is absolutely going to cool the track down. Put a little bit of grip into this Dover, Delaware Monster Mile racetrack here. The Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series right here on turn one. Maybe be able to pick up a little bit of the pace, find a little bit more grip in those front tires. For a lot of these drivers, they've been on since lap 45. They've had some cautions, but certainly starting to run to the end of their life. Taking a look here at lap times. Last time by, Jorgensen Jr. ran about a tenth faster, but ultimately Justin Fuller's 9/10 of a second gap is pretty impressive here. He's been in full control, started on the pole, has led all the laps so far. 24.88 for Justin Fuller. who seems to really favor this car and this package in the Cup Series. Most of our top 10 spread pretty far out, looking through the rest of the field. Nothing else really shaking off. Fuller settles in down here, lap 113. Going to have to see some pit stops before the end of this race. Will they be green flag stops? We're going to find out. David Schildhaus there, riding around in fourth. He's had a pretty decent night tonight. I think ultimately that battle for P2 is maybe took a little bit out of the tires on that car. This is a pass for position. That's Stephen Miles there, getting underneath Jose Gonzalez. Tommy Bride's looking to follow through. Bride's going to be on the inside of Gonzalez. Gonzalez is going to slide back on that high line, and Ride will get clear. That is for ninth. Right now, it is all the Justin Fuller show. Another driver not having a wild night, but certainly a decent one. Chad Coleman, he's riding around right now, up 3 spots in 11th. And as I mentioned, Jose Gonzalez in the top 10. But then you've got drivers like Tommy Bride, he's up 20 spots. Stephen Miles is up 20 spots. Andrew Lutz Jr. is also up 11, and then obviously Josh Parker is up plus 30 on the night, sitting in third. Really strong pace out of Parker. I imagine if we see a caution before it's all said and done, Parker could be a contender for the victory here tonight. As Fuller really starts to close in on some lap traffic. Nelson Rivera, he's gonna go multiple laps down. He's gonna slide out of the way. But Fuller now is gonna be faced with some of the most traffic he's seen all night. Just off the nose here as they roll through one. We talked about how critical dirty air is, or clean air for the leader here, how impactful it can be. Well, now Justin Fuller, he doesn't have just one car, he's got 3. They're running all over the racetrack here. So he's looking to put these drivers a lap down quickly. He's going to actually move up high in the corner there, then drive off low. He's going to look underneath the 44. Not a bad run there for the 51. That was a decent way to make that pass. It was not a line I expected him to run. But right now, he's actually growing his lead 1.3 seconds. The only driver running a 24-second lap time in the top 10 is our leader, Fuller. Meanwhile, Stephen Miles is looking underneath Anthony Calatoni. Miles is going to pick that spot up. That will be for 7th. And Fuller, this 51 car is just on rails here tonight at Dover. Just 3 laps ago, it was 1.2 seconds out front. Now it's 1.5, now 1.6. He is able to roll through the corner so much better than a lot of these other drivers. Short of a restart, tires. I don't know what anybody else, I've not seen anybody outside of Josh Parker who has so much raw speed. Parker obviously is driven through the field. He's sitting in 3rd right now, and he is slow on the apron. Josh Parker is going to come down pit road. We've got green flag stops starting in the top 10, and it all kicks off with Josh Parker on pit road. Now, that is going to set off a sequence of events. Who stays out here? Theoretically, if Fuller stays out 2 more laps, 3 more laps, Josh Parker is going to close that gap. That gap was about 2 seconds, but these tires are going to give him such a strong advantage. see how this all plays out in the grand scheme of things once this cycle's out. Right now, Fuller, no pressure out back, and the traffic in front of him has calmed down just a little bit. 1.9 on the gap. So far, nobody else has come down pit road just yet, but Josh Parker, he's going to merge back out on track. With those fresh Goodyears, we'll see what he could do. He's obviously betting on this cycling out. He wants to see the leader stay out a little while. He can make up some time. How much is going to be the important factor here is Miles. He's starting to drive his way forward, but it's a bit of a traffic jam up here. With lap traffic and the mix involved. That's Andrew Lutz Jr. He's also driving forward. All of a sudden, Jason Karlovich has fallen back here, losing some spots. Calatoni's going to slide up in front of him. Schildhouse underneath. Schildhouse has fallen back to fifth while Miles has moved forward. Andrew Lutz Jr. They've got the go pedals down here as we're 24 laps to go for tonight's Cook's Landscape Group Cup Series right here on, at Dover on turn one. Schildhouse now stuck on that outside line, but Tommy Bryan going to look underneath David Schildhouse. Those tires really falling off. He's fallen all the way back to ninth. Oh, sorry, it looks like Schildhouse is eighth. Andrew Lutz Jr. knocking our into the top three for the first time tonight. Stephen Miles into the top five for the first time tonight. Calatoni's all the way back up to fifth. And we're going to see David Schildhouse down pit road for his final service of the night. Green flag stops underway. Fuller continues to remain out on track, but he's up +3 seconds. Mark Jorgensen Jr., I tell you what, I don't know how Fuller has gotten faster each and every lap, or at least continues to get faster. Doesn't fall off nearly as much as the rest of these guys. What a dominating performance by the 51 so far here as he rolls through 3 and 4. He's going to come back by and take the 20 to go signal from the flagman. 20 to go here at Dover. Oh, we've got a car slow down on the apron. That's David Schildhouse. I don't know what happened to that driver. A lot of smoke. And then we saw him slow. I also show a crash detected, but we remain green. But Schildhouse, not the pit sequence he wanted to see here. As Fuller continues to remain on track. 3.8 seconds out front, Cody Harris. Wesley Donaldson, this is a battle here for the 9th place position. Harris able to squeeze by Donaldson. I think some of these drivers hoping for a little bit of a caution to come out. Last time by the way, Josh Parker, a 24.43. Our leader ran a 25.08. Parker, certainly a lot faster right now. And Fuller, there's no way he's got enough fuel to make it to the end. But man, I don't know what the strategy call is here. Do you come down with 15 to go or what the plan is? But we're going to find out. That's Tommy Bryan off the corner. That is not for position in front of him there. Actually, I believe that, who was that? I see Bentley Glazer down pit road. He's down for service. Now we're starting to see a mix of new tires and old. That is the 41 of EJ O'Rourke. He came down pit road here on lap 119, so those new tires certainly paying off for him. That's the 2 car we're seeing up into the top 10 for the first time tonight. The 38 of Coleman underneath him, but not able to hold him off. Now it's a 3-way battle back here. Again, new tires versus old. Mixing it up back here. 3 wide out of 4. That's Schildhouse making the middle happen. That just shows you how much grip those newer tires have. Schildhouse is going to continue to roll forward on the bottom. Remember, these are not for position. Schildhouse is still a lap down. Josh Parker starting to show back up here on the scoreboard. In 16th, a lap down, racing his way forward. As Fuller continues to just run out that gap out front. 5.2 seconds and growing. This is a battle right here. This is for position. That's Cody Harris. He's been moving his way forward here, and Schildhouse is going to follow as Calatoni's going to slide back. Harris into the top 5. Now it's Coleman here battling side by side. Jason Karlovich. Josh Parker back there. Keep in mind, he's a lap down. But taking advantage of those new tires, driving, he can pretty much put the car anywhere he wants. And he's driving forward. Ten to go here at Dover. Fuller in full control. Did he save enough fuel? Tommy Ryan side by side. And that's the 2. Robert Ferretti sitting 7th. Roberts moving forward. Josh Parker on the outside of Ryan. And Mark Jorgensen, he's going to lose it coming down pit road. He completely loops it. The 88 spins, trying to come down pit road here in Dover. He's going to get it spun back around, but that's going to lose a ton of time. Andrew Lutz Jr. is going to settle into P2. Joe Hudson's going to work around the 60 car. That's for 9th. Stephen Miles down pit road. He has to lock him up. Pit stops underway. 8 to go. Fuller out front, 7 seconds. Does the 51 have enough? Everything tells me no. But Justin Fuller has surprised me many, many times this season. Does he have enough here to run all the way to the end of this race? 1:07 to go. No pressure out back. He can lift very early. You can make up some time just gliding the car through the corner, lifting early. You don't have to push so hard. As we see Tommy ride down pit road, that's for service. Fuller has no pressure out back for the next 7 seconds. Ultimately, this is going to be really tight. As he works out of 4 with 5 to go. Fuller, at this rate, I don't see him coming down pit road. He has got what he's got. Going to try to run all the way to the very end. Free and clear everybody else. Cody Harris has raced up to 30. Anthony Calatoni's going to come down pit road. He's going to need to top off at gas just a little bit more here to make it to the end. This is all going to be about who saved a little bit of fuel on top of this run. 4 to go. Fuller has that gap now out to 8 seconds plus. David Comstock's on pit road for service. It's getting a little racy back here again. Lap traffic versus non-lap traffic. Cody Harris trying to navigate it all. Andrew Lutz Jr. He's in trouble. Harris on the outside. He's going to take that spot away. Cody Harris up to P2. Chad Coleman didn't save enough. He's got to come down pit road. Strategy at hand. And this is going to shake up this top 10. Fuller just needs to make it around one and a half more times here at the Monster Mile. Does he have enough fuel in the 51? It's Billy Glazer outside of the 12. This is not for position. Billy's come down pit road. And it comes across the stripe one more time around here in Dover. 8-second gap. The 2 car is going to break away, get around Andrew Lutz Jr. But it has been the 51. Justin Fuller started on the pole, led all the laps, and he wins here at Dover. Cody Harris has a great drive forward. He's going to finish P2. Then it's Robert Ferretti Jr. Robert Ferretti III going to finish 3rd. Andrew Lutz Jr., Wesley Donaldson, Joe Hudson, Bobby Wetzel up 24 spots, going to finish 7th tonight. Jason Karlovac 8th. Josh Parker drives all the way back up to 9th. And Jason Pick was able to recover after being involved in an early caution to take home a 10th place finish here tonight. What a wild show all over this Dover racetrack. And Fuller's going to come down pit road. Not even going to try to do a burnout, I don't believe. Oh, he's going to head to victory lane. Probably doesn't have enough. The 51 goes to victory lane, and we're going to call it a wrap. Thanks so much for being here tonight. The Cooks Landscape Group, the Cooks Landscape Group Cup Series never disappoints here on Sim 500 and Monday nights right here on Turn 1. On behalf of the league admins, I'm Sean Fitz. We appreciate you being here. We'll see you next time for more racing action. Bye-bye now.